This is it. Knowing that it's okay for me to say no actually frees me up no end to be able to ask for what I want, because I then have it in my world of possibility that this other person has the capability of saying yes or saying no for their own, looking out for themselves.
Wow.
And that's actually massively freeing for both parties. And this is in the confusion theory stuff. This is about not feeling for the other person. It's allowing the other person. It's letting go of control of the other person, letting them have their own thoughts, letting them have their own feelings, and rather than managing things inside by going, oh, if I say this, what will they say? Oh, we don't want to put them in that situation, blah 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 blah. Kind of managing them for them, with an internal model. Sounds so kind of scientific. It's not quite like that. It's not like the scientific model, but having them inside means that you're not actually interacting with them on the outside. And that's another example of creating a boundary. When you let go of what you're holding for the other person, when you let go of control of the other person, control that belongs to the other person, they become out there, you're over here, and the more they're out there and I'm over here, the stronger that contact, that boundary contact is between me and them. The idea of relating that letting go of control of another person to letting go of control of life in general, it's like it's letting go of control. In fact, it's one thing that I say to clients, it's not actually letting go of control, because control is quite happy to stay. You don't just let go of it because it's actually got a grip. You've got to consciously kind of wrestle yourself away from control, is my experience with clients. They've got to want control to move away, because actually there's consequences to letting go of control.
Like what?
The consequence of letting go of control is that you lose the benefits of having this control presence with you. Those emotions that previously were probably so well controlled you don't even know that they're there, start actually arising in the moment for real, and they can be pretty intense. And the kind of attitude that I have with clients is, well, you can have exactly what you say you want if you're prepared to experience the consequences. And the consequences of letting go of control, or letting go of anxiety, or letting go of an addiction are not all positive.
And sometimes it's about facing those non-positive outcomes and being okay with them.
It's exactly that. You let go of control, and suddenly that energy in you that was previously controlled moves, and suddenly out of nowhere some tears come, or something is revealed, like an emptiness or something like that, that's actually experienced in or around the body, and it can come as a bit of a surprise. And at times when people are being triggered, which they'll normally ascribe the problem to being the thing that triggers them. So, every time I do public speaking, I feel this way, so there's clearly some problem around, I've got a phobia of public speaking or something, so let's just quickly sort that out. Well, sometimes phobias are like that, but for something like public speaking, what it's often doing is it's shaking the normal control apart and allowing this kind of held in or controlled feeling to come to the surface. And because it's kind of happening out of you're not choosing for it to happen at the point where it's public speaking or something, and suddenly poof, this all happens. It can come as a bit of a surprise. It can be a bit frightening.
So what you're saying is that when sometimes a client might come to you for a specific issue, but actually in order to deal with that issue, sometimes, if not most of the time, it's a deeper thing. Because if you're talking about just control generally and emotions held by control, that could be a model of the world change, kind of life view change, couldn't it?
Yeah, it's very understandable.
Do you normally experience that though? Is that
Yeah, and it's very understandable for a client who's watched some things on TV about hypnosis or about NLP,
right?
To think that you can come in with a particular problem in a particular context and do some stuff, and then you've got much more control over your emotions. Great, that sounds really good.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Much more control over their emotions. Yeah.
And you know what? It will probably work for that particular context. But it raises, and particularly with suggestion-based hypnosis, you create a whole load more kind of suggestions about what's not okay for the body to do in certain circumstances.
Yeah.
And you can potentially work. But what you're doing is obviously depending on who the hypnotist is and exactly how they're doing it, they're potentially adding more control and more stresses and tensions in, burying the roots of the problem deeper.
Which the need for control, isn't it? The need for control is the roots, isn't it? What?
Yeah. What at the end of the day, what are you trying to control? What are you really afraid of here? And the more you put control in, the deeper that goes. And what ends up happening is that the thing that's being so deeply controlled starts kind of worming its way in from the sides and from the outside, and it just all starts to be more and more complicated. If I've got this well-protected fear that I'm, in shorthand, bad. I've got this badness inside of me.
Is it like fear of being bad, or is it I am like?
Well,
I suppose it depends, doesn't it? On the person.
So the experience, if indeed the person is even aware of this, because they'll make it their business not to be aware of it, is
because they're also hiding it from themselves, aren't they?
Exactly. So they're hiding it from themselves. Is the fear of being bad, but then the fear of being bad kind of shelters them from the experience of being bad. So you reveal the badness, or you take off their ways of controlling in order to reveal what's actually there. I don't care what's there, let's just know what's there. And then the deepest fear often is that this badness is who they are. But then I'll coach them to really notice where the badness is. How do they know that they're bad? And it'll often be kind of a sensation of ickiness, actually, in a certain area of the body. And then for them to distinguish between them and the badness, and in distinguishing, I coach them to separate themselves from this energy that doesn't belong.